Sarah Kelmetta, also known as Sarah the Pivoter. The Lounge is where you come for personal and professional growth. Here, we have inspiring conversations that inspire transformation and balance. Today, I have Yana with me, and we're going to be diving into the intersection of culture, art, and space. Yana is a physicist, art historian, and founder of Space and Frames, a platform exploring the intersection of art and space. She's worked at NASA, led new space startups in Europe, and now brings together scientists, artists, and curious minds to reimagine our place in the universe. Yana, it's wonderful to have you. Thank you for being on the show with me today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I really love what you're doing with this intersection. I really do believe that nothing we experience or go after in life is in a silo. And there's always a crossover, always some symbiotic relationship. So I would love to know, like, how did you get here and what inspired Space and Frames?
Yeah, actually, yeah, the most beautiful things they are born from in the interdisciplinarity. Uh, I had two passions in life: science and art, and for me, it's like two different ways to understand and discover the world. And I was always hesitating between the two. When I was 18 years old, I was hesitating where to go to study, to physics faculty or to Academy of Arts. But I was in Belarus, and doing arts in Belarus is not really something that you can live with. So yeah, I chose physics. But then after having PhD, I still was inclined to arts, and I did my bachelor degree in art history when I graduated when I was 37. So uh, that is something I'm going to continue. I'm starting in September. I'm starting art and culture management master program in the University of Nice. Like 2 days ago, I got
Wow.
the confirmation. Yeah,
Congratulations.
so lifelong, thank you, lifelong learning. So I was between these two worlds, and I even had an art gallery at some point. I inherited some money from my grandma, and I bought an art gallery. It was like a hobby for weekends, so I was full-time scientist slash chief operating officer and a gallerist. And for me, it was one or another, one or another. And around a year ago, I thought, like, why why do I choose? Why just not combining? Because the most beautiful thing when because I learned about different space startups, many things on the cross section of something. Like, oh, what can I want to create a space startup? What can I do? And then, well, space and art because I have both degrees, and also I have a MBA degree that just graduated last year. So I like to study new things. So I can create something around space and art, and then I started studying. But of course, in art history, there's so many since. Prehistoric times, we were looking in the sky on stars and try to understand what is there, to imagine it, to represent it, etc., etc. There is whole philosophy around. And then I was trying to learn more and more and more and more. And then this idea of just what I learned, I need to give to others. So you need to share this knowledge. So I started a blog, and then I got very nice feedback from different people, mostly from my environment, from scientific tech professionals, saying, "Oh, we want to know more. We want this, we want that. Do webinars, do lectures, do exhibitions, do this, do that." I'm still in the process of understanding the framework, how to bring everything together. But yes, this is where I'm going, and actually, I'm also writing a book about space in art, like art historian academic book. Yeah, so this is the concept, like bringing both worlds together, joining them, and let them learn from each other. That is very important because they are very, very disconnected, actually.
Absolutely. And yet it's so human to have both sides, right? You said even though you chose physics, you kept coming back to the arts. And I hear this story a lot, actually. I mean, I used to write poetry a lot when I was in high school. And then I spent, 15 years not writing a single thing because I thought I had to be, a businesswoman. And very focused on performance and everything. And yet, when we combine the two, when we interrelate, we can then come up with more unique solutions. And to be honest, they're not even unique. We say they're unique because we're humans and we like to put things in boxes. But in reality, it's really the recognition. I mean, biomimicry. There's a lot in nature that we then recreate just using different tools. But when we go back to basics and why does the majority of people find this thing beautiful? Well, there's a certain pattern. There's a certain, like the Fibonacci spiral, like all of these things that
Mm,
exist in our world. And so whether we admit it or not, we all have that capability, I don't even know what to call it, but that curiosity is really beautiful. And having the combined conversation unlocks different parts of our brain, right? If we
absolutely.
stay within such rigid boundaries of zeros and ones or, the mathematics, then we forget about how that mathematics exists in the real world, in nature, and in other things. And so being able to then see that from another perspective, which is what we like to talk about on this show, is really powerful because it can unlock new pathways of thought, which can lead to a new solution.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. I agree. This is it, and creativity. Scientific research is creativity, engineering is creativity, innovation. What is innovative activities? It's creativity. It's creation something new, and you need and art obviously is no need to explain. Uh, and if you touch this art, engage with arts, with it's different type of creativity,
Yeah.
and so you can it boosts creativity and innovation spirit, so there is a practical thing behind also. So really, if you are not just an engineer, very well educated in one this particular domain, um, this is great, but to be a really outstanding scientist, outstanding engineer, innovator, you need to get information from everywhere. And
Mm.
art is very good because it combines all together, all life, and this is it's not very easy to measure, ROI, how to measure. For example, you invest, you have a company and you have an innovative department, and you think, okay, my engineers, my scientists need some boost of creativity, of innovation. Okay, let's make an art seminar, let's spend some money on that, and then how do you measure the outcome? They will innovate better. This is not easy to measure, but there are academic studies proving that it actually very important. And we know that imagine whatever genius, we let's not talk about Renaissance genius, that the polymath, that like Leonardo da Vinci, who was him, artist, painter, architect, engineer, scientist, who was philosopher, like all together. Even in modern times, the most outstanding people, they are not only good in their particular field, they are they always are somewhere else. They do music, they do art, they do I don't know, write poetry or dance, I don't know. And this is I think this is very important, not to focus only on one particular thing, because this is your business, this is your job. You need to look around and learn from absolutely different, like diametrically different fields,
Mm.
and that will make you better in your job and better as a human,
Yes,
obviously.
I love that. Yes, not only better at your job, but better as a human. And it's important to explore those diametrically opposed concepts or beliefs, right? Both can be true in different contexts, and it depends on how you're applying them, right? So when we can start to unravel all of that and we really look objectively, we can start to understand the benefits, right? Everything out there. My mentor and business partner likes to say, It's a George Box quote, who's a mathematician. All models are wrong, some are useful. Models
That
are
is
just
nice.
how we explain the world, right? And if you really listen, if you really pay attention, you can take this model and this one and you can stack them side by side. They're using a different language, but they're saying the same thing very frequently, right? And so we can then start to understand that if we can come to a consensus about the language we're using, we can then fit within that model. But when we're on the edges, right, and we work on those edges, we can bridge the gap. Not everyone will be able to live on that edge or to be able to translate, if you will, between disciplines or between departments, between languages, no matter if it's a language from a like a Spanish, English, French, Swiss, German, Italian, that type of language translation, or engineer to artist to pilot to astronaut to physicist to student to mom who takes care of the whole household, right? All of these things. And it's important to get into others' worlds to understand what's going on because otherwise we're not having the same conversation. And that's why we often find ourselves going around in circles.
Yeah, this is so true. Actually, talking about languages, I just remember the expression. I don't know who said that. It's like as many languages you speak, as many times you are human.
Mm,
And actually, I really wanted to be a polyglot, but I speak Russian as mother tongue, English, and I speak French. Maybe English a bit better. I understand a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of German, but okay, I can say I'm human three times, and that can be also be applied to the fields.
yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
science, arts, business, whatever, something like that, and it brings so different perspective on
Mm,
everything that you look at the world absolutely differently, and I think that this is important also from other side. So
mhm,
artists they also need. As in 21st century, you do this tech art, you need to understand, and this is also I think my one of bullet points from my mission is to bring science to arts,
mhm,
because sometimes they want they are fascinated by space, let's say, but they
sure.
don't understand how to do it's drawing, painting rockets is not it's not what we're talking about. It's something much more complicated and advanced. I don't know, we were discussing with some artists recently the behavior of materials in microgravity conditions.
Mm,
So artists need to know that to be able to engage with the modern technologies that is all what is happening in space industry, because arts they represent the history, the ongoing what is happening in the world. So arts are following the history and the politics and the culture, and in different countries, different cultures, continents, represent different societies and minorities, majorities, and all these conflicts, and they need to be aware. Sometimes with science, it's not enough to read the news. It's you need a little bit more of information. Yeah,
yeah.
so that is outreach that scientists are doing, space agencies are doing, but still not enough, I think. So there is a work to do to bring these worlds together. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, whether we're talking about space and art or other disciplines or other languages, other cultures, it's really about how do we come together and learn from each other rather than like it's not my way is better, your way is better, or I'm only going to meet you so far. It's like get curious, just ask a lot of questions. You don't have to go home and all of a sudden be like a space physicist. You can still do the art, but now you have a better understanding, and that might influence how you show up in your art, and vice versa, right? And to start thinking in a more abstract way is extremely powerful because instead of being conformed by the like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, this order, now you're able to just see things from all these perspectives, and you might make a connection that you previously would have missed. So it's important that we're developing both sides of the brain, that we're developing these different skill sets. And human beings are not, even if it's only like one language that you speak right now, our brains are plastic. You can learn to speak more languages no matter what the language is. And that's the beauty of it, right? And you might forget some languages because you put more energy and effort and attention into something else. And that's okay. I think there's a real fear of, um, will I forget this? And it's like wrapped up in my identity and I have to hold it so tightly. But when we can loosen the grip, we can allow more to be there. And of course, things will shift and evolve. But that's also part of the experience, right? Part of being human.
Yeah, this is very true, and here I always advocate for lifelong learning,
Yes.
because they say people never change. This is not true. People change, and I think if you don't change, this is stagnation. This is not
Mhm.
life. It's just you. This is you just can't just die. There's no sense if you don't change. If you don't transform, if you don't learn, because the world is changing and you are changing with the world, and you're growing up, you're learning, yeah, exactly, forgetting all things. You're not the same person every moment, and after each conversation, after our conversation, I will be different person, right? You the
Yes.
same,
I
so
just
this
had
is
that
because
conversation with someone the other day, that each moment, each interaction that we have has that possibility to completely alter who you experience yourself as, what you think, what you believe, or like what direction you take. Right? You might have a conversation and that person sparks something in you, and now all of a sudden you do some research and you look up some things, you take a course, right? Or you decide I'm going to go to this art studio nearby, or I'm going to go to the NASA Space Center and check it out. And all of a sudden, your whole life trajectory shifts. And maybe just a little bit at first, but then over time, that's a pretty big shift, all because of that one conversation. And it happens all the time. We just don't often give it credit.
yeah, I actually trying to do that, and I started carefully select people that I'm connected with, expand my time if I talk, and spend more time to listen. Like, I like to share knowledge. I like to talk. I like to teach, because I have degrees, this that. But then, uh, if okay, I can share my knowledge, but I need to get knowledge as well. That's why I continue learning and listening. And I'm very grateful for those people that recently, with all my new this new wave of space and art, I connected to so great people that really enriched me so much, and I learned so much. And even Frank White, he agreed to talk to me
Yeah.
without any recording. That was not a podcast, so nobody knows what we were talking about, and we spent 1 hour talking about space and art and like, sharing ideas, etc., etc. And I was so grateful,
Hmm.
and I'm glad to be on that moment of my life when such people agree to talk to me and share with me their thoughts. And yeah, it's so nice.
Yes.
So yeah, this lifelong learning, I advocating for that, because actually I think that so many problems in this world are because of lack of education.
Oh,
So you
absolutely.
need to know not just physics, arts, whatever. You need to know other opinions, like
Yes.
other cultures, other points of view, and then you understand. Usually these um, aggressive posture, and something that you don't you cannot accept, is because you don't know it well enough.
Right.
Once you learn, you understand much better just a point of view of your neighbor, I don't know, or some politician, or some even some theory, like a scientific theory that you may think that is it's not relevant, like like relativity theory, or like even Einstein, he didn't like the quantum, this probabilistic nature of quantum world. Even Einstein didn't like it. So if you could be very, very intelligent and educated, and then something new can make you not like it, to create a conflict. But that's why you need to learn all the time.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I love learning as well. This whole oh, retire and then do something. No, I mean, maybe I'll retire from doing jobs that I have to do and I get to do more, like choosing more projects that are in alignment, for example. But really, I love your point about stagnation, right? If you're not learning, it's stagnant. And I really equate this to, I heard some really wonderful analogies where it's, imagine water, right? Standing water in a lake or in a pool. It's infested, it's murky, it's yucky. There's a lot of muck there. Or like blood in the body. Blood has to keep moving, or else you have a problem if it starts to pool in one area and just stay there, right? And yet so often we cling to what we think we know, which might also not be accurate. And and just to your point, right now with what we know, we're at a certain scientific level of discovery, and we're constantly discovering new things all the time that then make previous theories or previous things incorrect. I mean, the people who first said that the earth revolved around the sun instead of the other way around were hanged, and not ostracized. It's not always popular to come out with something new, and that's okay. But it's being open to those things and being curious. I really truly think curiosity is the balm for everything. It's the balm for being open to a point of view. It's the balm for when you're angry and frustrated, right? Oh, I'm really curious. Where's this coming from the other person? Rather than just reacting, like you said, I have to defend my position and prove something here. And usually that, it's like, it really makes me think of like when someone is 13, right? And their
Yeah.
parents introduce them and they're like, actually, I'm 13 and a half. It's like, that's how I know you're 13, because you feel like putting the half in there makes you more mature, when in actuality, it just very much shows your age. And and then as we age, we get a different perspective and a different understanding. And on the other side, we can laugh at ourselves and go, "Oh yeah, I think I did that before." And now as an adult, I understand why that's so silly, but we find it endearing. And so there's always a different way to look at something.
Yes, yes, very true. Yeah, I think curiosity is actually a driver of civilization, because all what we built was because we wanted to build, and for that we needed some knowledge, and yeah, all discoveries, all beautiful things. It's interesting actually, because there are two things. We started civilization because we became sedentary,
Hmm.
so we started living in one place and doing agriculture. But at
Yeah.
the same time, we value those who did discoveries, like who went somewhere else, from that place. So
Right.
both are needed. But for both, you need knowledge, and you need curiosity, and you need hard work as well. So uh, it's very interesting about Earth. You talk, and I have like my notes. I just read. I saw a miniature from some medieval book. I forgot which book was that. It was from Charlemagne times, and it was very interesting that there was planets, sun, and planets circling around Earth,
Hmm.
but Mercury and Venus around the Sun. So it is so interesting, because the system, the heliocentric system, it was already discovered by Greeks, uh, but then it was back, the geocentric, but still these two planets, they stayed with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus. Well, because they are inner, and this is so interesting. This it, like both systems at one miniature, and this like it shows a little bit of evolution of the knowledge. So there was something there, there was something here, and this is the beautiful thing that I cannot imagine. Like, it's so weird, looks so weird.
Mm.
So yeah, and we are constantly evolving the body of our knowledge, and sometimes we just incorporate the previous theories into the new ones. It's like with relativity, etc., etc. So I think this is how it's happening right now. And I really want to see the new revolution, like scientific revolution, something maybe about black matter or something like that.
Yes.
Yes,
There's some really
because
exciting things going
yeah,
on right now.
yeah,
And
or
speaking of
maybe
books,
a discovery of new life on some planet.
I know. Yes, I know. Every time I follow spacenews.com, so I get a daily, thing every day, and then I follow AIAA and just all of these headlines, and it's a very exciting time in space. Yes, there's a lot of chaos and chaos theory, right? There's also a lot of things that can come out of chaos. And so it's like pure potentiality. We feel like it's
Oh
chaos
yes,
because there's no structure to it yet, and we don't know how to contain or label or put a framework around. And yet that is exciting at the same time, right? Because that means so many things outside the realm of our current possibilities exist.
yeah, very interesting to watch all this, because it's not only about we were we passed already that in 60s 70s when it was a space race, and we thought,
Mhm.
okay, we will go to the moon for vacation, like we go
Sure.
to some islands,
Yeah.
but still not there. But and now it's back. And But we talk about commercial space, new space, commercial space. Okay, there is commercial things. Okay, space tourism, there is Earth observation, but other things, well, it's not easy, and with investments, it's not easy because you don't see the commercial potential right away in
Right.
short term. And but still, it's very fascinating. People go after that, invest in that just because this is space, this is sexy. Space is,
Exactly.
you want to be there somehow. Yeah, it's still expensive, but it will be cheaper. And I don't want to go to space. I'm afraid of height. I'm with all this, no, 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 no.
And
But
that's so
I
interesting,
really
right?
want to see.
Because here you are studying and advocating for integrating art and space and all of these things, and you don't want to go, and yet you are fascinated by it and you're in it and, around it. And so that's, I think, another very important conversation is that you don't have to go there. You don't have to want to go there to be in this space, pun intended, right? To work
Yeah.
for a company that works in that field or to help make discoveries. And so often there's that barrier. I think now with commercial space and the fact that it is coming down in cost, we're not there yet where it's like a flight, and we will get there at some point. I spoke to, Andy Aldrin the other day, and he's going to be co-emceeing with me at an event coming up on June 21st at Kennedy Space Center. And he was, saying like there are children right now that are in classrooms who are going to be living this dream that we're talking about. Like it is very much possible for this to be a reality for them. Whereas, to your point, he grew up in a much different era, and yes, that was the conversation, but they knew it would be a much longer time horizon. And so that's exciting for some people, terrifying for others. I know many people that think I'm bonkers when I say that I would go to space or that I want to go. And yet for me, it's it's exciting. It's that adventure. I imagine the silence would be deafening, but it's very much like scuba diving in my mind. That's how I equate it. It's just you're in this big vast space, and it's quiet. It's different, and I feel like it would be a really great way to know yourself as well.
Yeah, yes, sure. Overview effect.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes,
that too. Yeah.
it, that is. yeah, when they invent something that you don't have to experience, I don't know how many G's, and then
Yeah.
not all this, because I am sick even in the taxi. It depends on the car, like in electric cars, I'm sick. Oh my God, because of acceleration. No, I'm that's why. But yes, you're right. I don't have to want to go to space to study. Everything related to space. I'm not an artist either. I'm art historian, so I
Mhm.
study artists, real artists. Well, I am an amateur artist. Even when in my gallery I sold some artworks, but it's not. I don't count myself as a really creative person. So I really like to study others and look at them. Like, wow, this is amazing. How could this come to the mind? And I'm always just like I don't have this creativity, but well, I can study that, and I can talk about that. Sometimes, artists, they and scientists often they are very introvert. They are
Mhm.
closed. Nobody knows. They need an agent. They need a spokesperson. Yes.
Absolutely.
So
That's
yeah,
that's one of my things that I like to say is that I'm a voice for those who don't want to use theirs. It's not that they can't, but they may not want to. And so helping them to share their message in a way which, conveys what they want to share with the world without them having to, you know, be on a stage or tried to painstakingly put something together. They get to focus on the science or the art. And, it is incredible. I have a friend as well here in Austin. His name is Alex, and he's doing an art exhibit in a couple weeks. Um, and just to see what his mind creates. He does a lot of like body painting on people at events and things like that as well. And it's a very experiential thing to go through, and it's also just incredible to but I also asked him, I said, like, were you always naturally able to produce this quality? He was like, no, not this quality, but I was just curious and I would practice. But like with anything, it is a practice.
yeah.
And then through time he was able to, okay, I now understand how to draw the structure of a human body, or what to how to make this look realistic, and get the proportions correct, etc., or to make it more fantastical and add, a feature like horns or wings or something, right? And it was really interesting to have that conversation, because it is a reminder that creativity is also a skill set. And so allowing
Oh yes.
ourselves to practice it, to be in environments that practice it. My business partner and mentor, he talks about like the true goal of leadership being to create a space that allows creativity to flourish, because that's where innovation will come from.
Yes, yes, yes. This famous 10,000 hours to be professional in whatever field. I think it's not enough. So, and coming back to this learning, lifelong learning. So yes, you need to have some talents, but they all usually say it's like 1% of talent, 99% of hard work. So yes, and hard work, like, you learn by practicing,
Yeah.
and especially in arts and music, and things like that. Like practice really, like with your fingers, and for dance, for all this, with your body, with your fingers, and for scientists, it's solving problems. If you know. I don't know, 500 theorems and formulas, etc., etc., and you can use that one in that specific moment, and this is when creativity comes. But it is always a lot of learning, a lot of learning, a lot of learning. It's just
Yes.
I remember my my time learning math and physics.
Oh my gosh, yes. I math and physics. My mom likes to read physics books for fun, and my partner's a mathematician. So I'm surrounded by it, but it's definitely not how my brain is wired, and yet I'm still fascinated by it. And it's not impossible. Like I learn new things all the time through, osmosis, through getting exposed to it and just being curious, asking questions, and then seeing how that translates over into things that I do understand and can comprehend. And so Again, if you can teach it to somebody else, you'll learn at a deeper level, right? And they often say, if you can't explain it simply, then you don't know it well enough, right? There's still more
Exactly. To
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 do.
6-year-old, if you cannot explain
Yeah.
it to 6-year-old, this is very true. This is very true. Yeah, about math, we say that math is useful, at least because it puts your mind brain in order, something like that. We say,
Mm.
and I put it so much in order. It was too ordered, so I need some chaos in it, so that from
Yes.
that chaos something new
So you brought the
can be
chaos
born.
back.
Yes, and for some other people, there is no order, only chaos. So you need a little bit of order. So you really need both.
You do. It's
Um,
yin and yang, right? Even in
yeah,
the side of the chaos, there's a little bit of order, and in the side of order, there's a little bit of chaos. So it's very important that, and it's an ebb and flow. It's a dance. It's not always one thing. That ratio will be different. And we all have some areas of our life where we're more structured and we have routine and habits and all these things in other areas that are completely chaotic. And it's impossible to always have pure structure. It may feel like there's always pure chaos, particularly if you have young children, for those of you out there that have young children, or a puppy. But that eventually also balances itself out, right? There's an entropy to things.
oh yes, young children, puppies. Actually, uh, you must put everything in order, like close the doors, put
Right.
up all wires and things like that. So you're more ordered, and like a pharmacy should be up, da 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 da. So it pushes you towards more order. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. Absolutely. This is very interesting where our discussion is going.
I know, and
Yeah.
this is what I love about it, because it's like we tease on a thread and then we pull on it. And so I always like to think of a conversation like that. Like, okay, here's this tapestry of this person in front of me, and there's some threads. And so I'm going to pull on them. And the ones that move, I'm going to go, oh, let's keep pulling. And then sometimes we kind of unravel a section, and then we like weave it back together, but in a new way through the conversation.
Mm.
And really, this
Yeah, this is
is,
cool.
yeah, it's like a visual represent. I'm very visual in the way that I see things or think of things. And so I may feel like I'm not creative sometimes because I'm not expressing it outward in some sort of I don't know. I mean, I do write poetry, but maybe art or whatever. But then when I can explain, so my art is through my words, right, through the speaking, and so poetry is just artistry of the spoken word. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, this visual, audio, and kinesthetic. I'm kinesthetic. I'm having two these things because I wear all the time, and then I play with them
Yeah.
because I'm kinesthetic. I'm doing everything with my hands because I work with my brain, and but I do a lot of things with my hands. So like I do knitting, I do everything like gardening, renovations, whatever. Like really, uh, I like because it grounds me. It
Mhm.
brings me back. It's like this is the order that is there, and it's like with hands. And there is this direct connection. Like little babies, kids, they should do something with their fingers because it creates connections, like more connections in their brain, so they learn better, something like that. And for elderly people also very important. So I'm always doing
Yes, no,
something
it's
like
good
that.
to keep the the movement there. When we do things physically as well, we remember things differently. There's, as a speaker, when you learn how to really master the craft of like being on a stage, you learn how to use your body to remember parts of your speech and to also make it easier for the audience. And I think
Hmm.
back to, I was a figure skater in my early years, and
Wow.
yeah, I would have a short program and a long program, and the music would be my cue, and I would know, okay, this part is playing. I'm not where I should be on the ice. I need to get over there faster. I spent too much time on this part, or I'm already here and the music hasn't, like, I'm not supposed to be here yet. I moved too quickly. Okay, so let's add some choreography and spend some time doing something else until I can get back in the flow of things. And so it was very easy to remember because there were several cues: physical, auditory, right? And then the movement itself. And if you apply that to anything you're doing, then it can also be the same, right? Which is why they say when you write things physically with pen and paper, you connect to it more, you remember it better rather than, I mean, I know it's often easier to type notes, but I can tell you right now, when I type notes, I don't remember anything. I remember I wrote something and I like search key terms in my notepad, but I don't actually retain it very deeply. But if I handwrite it, I can close my eyes and even remember like where on the paper I wrote it. And so it's
Yes,
easier for me to remember
this is very
that.
important.
Yeah.
And also when you want to achieve something, I have a nice story from my life.
Yeah, please share.
Um, when I was third year in the university, I had a course of laser physics, and the teacher, a professor, he gave us like 5 minutes of coaching, coaching sessions for 5 minutes, and he said, if you want to achieve something in your life, you need to write it down. Create a wish and write it down right now. Write it down. And I wrote down, I want to defend my doctoral thesis. At third year of the university, I was thinking about playing music. I don't know, whatever. I was in love. I was this. I was not very best student. I was not good at all. And doctoral thesis was not in any horizon of possibilities. But I wrote it down. Just how many years after? 6 years, no, 5 years after I did that. And it was because in Belarus, doctoral means, so the equivalent of PhD is candidate. And
Okay.
then there is higher level. And you defend it if you are super, super good, you defend it when you're 60 years old. And I defended when I was 28. So, and it was a PhD, that is doctor, that is not doctor in Belarus, but it's doctor, it's true, and I did it. And I still have that the notebook somewhere, like with
Yeah.
this written. I don't know why I wrote it. I don't know. It just came to my mind. I don't know why I wrote it.
Yeah.
And the girl that was sitting next to me, she wrote, "I want to marry a millionaire." But with inflation in Belarus, you are a millionaire because 1 million was. It's like it was like $100. So I think her wish also was true. This is very funny.
That is
Yeah,
super
yeah, yeah.
funny,
So
but it's very true. Because for me, it's like, okay, tuning to the right frequency, right? When we are very clear about what we want out of life and we can go in that direction, we notice all the things around us that can lead us there. But there is something extremely powerful about writing it down and not, and also not talking about it, because sometimes talking about it too much satisfies the dopamine and the all the things in your brain, so it feels like you're doing something, but you're not really taking actions that help you get there. You're just talking about it, so then that can actually prevent you from getting the thing. But I have a similar story to you where I wrote down like 10 things. I was doing a gratitude practice and it was like, okay, today's June 6th, 2025. Let's pretend it's June 6th, 2026. And I'm writing 10 things I'm grateful for on June 6th, 2026. So these things have already happened, right? And I'm saying I'm thankful for these 10 things. So I did this exercise in like 2023 for 2024. It was March. And then I find this journal in like June or something of 2024. I totally forgot that I had wrote any of these things down. 7 of the 10 things had happened, and 3 of them I thought were brand new ideas in like the last month or the last 2 months. And I was like, really? I thought about this last year? I have no memory of that, right? But I wrote it down and it was
oh,
there. And so
That is super
imagine
cool exercise.
it's a really cool, yeah. There's a gratitude practice. I know everybody's heard of the what is it? Oh God, I can't even remember. The Secret. Everybody's heard of The Secret, right? The manifestation book is very popular, but it got like somebody made a movie and it got kind of misconstrued. People don't really understand that you have to take action, right? You can't just not do anything. But with the I got a adjacent book and it was called The Magic, and it was all about gratitude and just bringing gratitude into your life and different gratitude practices. And it is very powerful because one of the practices I did was write 10 things I'm grateful for before, like I've just woken up, I haven't done anything in my day. What am I grateful for? So you're orienting your focus on what you already have, who you are as a person, the experience you're having in that moment, which means you're also more tuning into that experience. So as you go through your day, you're looking for more of the same, that like validation, right? And you're aware that it's actually happening. And so then that encourages more of the same, right? It's when we get locked into the things that we don't want that they can. Does it ever feel like, like, oh, it keeps happening, or I can't seem to get away from it? Well, that's because we're just focusing on the wrong thing. There's like shift your bow of your ship in a new direction. It doesn't have to be a huge shift, just a small one. And then over time, we can have a much different result.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Yeah, I will do it. It's very I like this. I like this idea actually very much. Yeah, about well, I really need to do that. I will
Yeah,
do that
I would love to
now.
hear. I would love. Yana's gonna stop the podcast and like immediately go write out her things. But yeah, I actually have been thinking about that book for like the last month, and so I've pulled it off my shelf. I want to sit back down, do the practices again, and just really, like reorient myself in the direction that I want to take things. But I would love to hear your experience with it, and how you find the practice. Because that's again, it's a
Yes.
practice, right?
Yeah, it should be very powerful. I understand the mechanism of it.
Mm,
Yeah, and it's very true that talking about something replaces it's like buying a book replaces its reading. You have a good
right.
library, but you didn't read the book.
Yeah.
And I have this feeling that very often with some teams, we are going to do that, we're going to do that because these are our values. Okay, we agree on that. Well, let's do now. And I actually recently I had to make a selection because I was overloaded with different projects, not necessarily even with my ideas, but just other projects. Just I wrote messages like I'm sorry, but I'm overloaded and I need to step back because there was a lot of hand waving and not enough of real work. Of course, I was polite not to say that, but I witnessed that very often, and also I witnessed I'm doing that as well. And often when my friends, my family ask, oh, where are you with your project? Sometimes I don't want to say because I'm tired of talking about it.
Mm.
But I'm still talking about it, and I'm talking with my dear friend ChatGPT when I walk my dog. Sometimes I have some ideas, so I just start my phone and I just start talking, like not to forget my ideas. And it reacts, it makes valid points, etc., etc. And then I forget about it because for me it's kind of done, but it's not done. And yes, I need to come back to it and just copy and then just I don't know pass it somewhere else, some ideas, write some text on it, or write an email, or contact some certain people. And sometimes it's just yeah, because I talked about it. I need to talk less and do more. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's also sometimes we may not necessarily know what we want yet, and so we don't want to let ourselves get too influenced by other people, and that kind of dovetails into one of the questions I like to ask all of my guests. But I'll start with the first one. So, Yana, what would you say your superpower is?
I'm very fast. I think um, I really very fast, and it's um in thinking, in doing, in talking, in reading, even typing, like, and sometimes it's very good, and sometimes it is I'm a professional pusher. I have to push people, but when I work with people, everything is done on time because I'm like pushing, and I'm also like I'm trying to pretend that I'm polymath. So I really have this interdisciplinary um, mindset that helps a lot. So I think these are two, or
No,
maybe it's one.
no, that's great. Yeah, being able to switch between the topics, and move at a quick speed is definitely a superpower. And it also explains why you're at this intersection of the two disciplines. So now, speaking of the influence that we have of the people around us, who would you say is on your personal board of directors? And this doesn't have to be people actually in your life that you talk to and you know very well. It can be someone that you have never met, but you really admire some quality of theirs or something that they've done. Someone from the past, or even an avatar or a fictional character.
Well, yeah. So uh, it's a bit hard because many people they have mentors, etc. I I get a mentor and I grow as I'm fast. I grow so fast. So I grow this mentor over my mentor very quickly, and so it's not my mentor anymore. So currently, from my circle, I cannot name anyone, but from famous people, I can name from two different worlds. I can name Marina Abramovich and I can name Elon Musk. Okay, it's a very
Very different
contradictory
worlds.
person. Yes, but you know why? Both are really um, very courageous. So it's fearlessness that is
Mm.
in them. So Marina Abramović with her projects, with all this, it's fearlessness and it's trust. So artistic with her like very dangerous things that the project that she was doing, and I really admire. So in among artists currently living, she's maybe like this is an icon for me, and she's incredibly beautiful and so strong. I really I would like to meet her. And Musk, also like he's doing what he wants, doesn't need to give any excuse. It's like yes, you need to be very strong to be like that. Like today he's with the president of the United States. Tomorrow he's not with the president of the United States, and he's doing like that. Very emotional sometimes. And wow, I want to be like that. Like have, you do what you want, but at the same time, this is not just a crazy man who says what he wants, because he is a figure. He's really um, from one of the most prominent figures of our time. So I like this. Like you achieve something and you do whatever you want. But of course, you need to care about others, etc., etc. But like I like this. I like
Yeah,
to
there's a
be
bold
like that.
quality. There's a bold quality
Yeah,
about it, and being able to make things occur and happen in the world, right? It's like it's a very distinct thing. Not everybody is capable. Um, he might benefit from some things, but who knows what the deeper plan is, right? Like who knows where we don't
maybe there is
exist
a
in this
deep
world,
plan.
and we
Yes.
don't know
Yeah, yeah.
what's
We don't
actually.
know.
And then there's all, and then we get all the news and the noise and the chatter and the speculation and all the things. And at the end of the day, it's like focus on what you can do as an individual and like what you can control. And then you are in a much stronger place. And there is something to be said about not worrying about what other people think, not trying to people please all the time or trying to make everybody happy, because then nobody is happy, whether you're selling a product or a service or this is a relationship or whatever, right? Like that quality also applies. Um, do I agree with everything
Exactly,
he's done?
exactly.
Absolutely not. Has he done amazing things? Absolutely, right? So
Yes.
everyone has their thresholds and their preferences. And all we can do is again get curious. What's going on, and what can we learn from any situation that we're presented with?
Yeah, for me, like haters is a sign of success. If you have haters, that means you are successful. I was a very popular blogger in Belarus back in times, and really, really like tens of thousands of visitors, like and even like hundreds of thousands every month. So, and I had haters, and it was fun, And I still have them. They still follow me after 10 years. They still follow me, and this is fun. But it's little like that, but I like it. This is energy, because if you do something and people don't like, if you don't do something illegal, if you do something illegal, you go to jail. But if you do something or say something that people don't like, that means you touch their feelings. And well, I try to to make this propaganda of education, etc., etc. So it's a black PR sometimes to say something provocative, but yeah. So but people listen to you and know you what you're doing, and then you can push your ideas. And I think my ideas are good.
I agree. And you know what? It's important that we have people like that too. So we need those people. It's why influencers exist, right? Because people like, know, and trust them, and we need to have trust in order for there to be anything else, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. Yes. Well, I'm not a real influencer, but I would like to be, because like influencers that just do this like consumerism, all these things that, oh God, but no, there should be something better than that. So there are very good scientists, communicators that teach people. It's not easy. It's not easy, and they are amazing. And well, I want not really to scientific communication, but not for kids, and the young adults, more for adults, like really educated people, so they can educate their kids themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Now, okay, my final question. I know we spoke about it a little bit before we went live. Imagine that there's some intelligent life form, an alien being that's come to Earth, right? And they've met you, Yana, and you are the first human being that they interact with. So, what do they learn about humanity because they have met you first?
That is very good question.
It's a big question, I know.
That is, I'm hesitating between telling them the truth and trying them to love us. We deserve living. There is something good in us. Yes, we are curious, we are kind, um, we are strong, and this is what, I want to think about humanity like that, and I want to be like that. I really think that I'm what I said. Yes, and we deserve living on this planet. So, um, you know, we we understand the world. We are creative. We know physics. We know physics. you know we know the solar system. The Earth is not flat. Yes, and we expect to see other civilizations. So our civilization deserves living, not to be destroyed. Yes.
I love that.
I really hope. Yeah, I think we deserve. I am child free. I don't have kids, but I don't. It's not because I don't think that there is no future for the civilization. Sometimes these thoughts come, but it's just because I think I need to focus on bringing something to the humanity myself, not just another human. So Yeah, so I think we deserve living.
Thank you. That was a great answer. I love it. A lot to unpack there, and I agree. And part of why I ask the question is, who knows who's listening, and maybe they get to hear some different perspectives and see some of the best of us. And that's definitely a pun. But
Yeah,
yeah, I definitely hope that
true.
we get the opportunity one day, and then we get to show them all, despite all of our uh, faults, we are still worth being around.
Yes, yeah, I really hope to see. Uh, we must discover something. At least, maybe not intelligent life, but at least life,
Mm,
because it 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 exists. It's just maybe too far, but
I
probably
agree.
not too far.
I think, do you know the cosmobiologist, Dr. Graham Lau?
Probably not. Maybe I know the ideas. So,
If you go to Instagram and search cosmobiologist, I can send you his information later, and anyone else who's interested. But Dr. Graham Lau on LinkedIn, he's an astrobiologist, and a lot of his writing, he started a Substack, is very much grappling with some of these topics, and it's like I love diving deep. They're long newsletters, but if you like having this type of like mental wrestling match about what's possible and what it could exist and all the things, and he like relates science fiction and science and just everything. It's really great, and I think just based on our conversation today, you would probably enjoy
oh,
his
thank you.
writing.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes. Sure.
Amazing.
Yeah, also, I like all this, the ideas of evolution. You know, this what is Carl Sagan was writing about. You know that. Knowing what we know about evolution and about the universe, we can calculate, we create a formula how many civilization could coexist with our civilization, and like how many of them could be in general. And there's like a very huge number, I don't remember, but it's a huge number. The problem is that the universe is also very big, so it's not easy to contact with them. And then, but who knows? Who knows?
Exactly. Who knows what's around the corner? Yana, it's been so awesome to have you on the show. I know it's late by you, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to join me. If others would like to learn more about your project, your upcoming book, or just the work that you're doing, where can they find you?
Well, I have a website that is my name, yanakarol.com, and there I have all my links. So I'm quite active on LinkedIn. And I have Substack where I'm writing. This is art history blog, so that I'm sharing also on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
That is spaceinframes.substack.com. So yes, quite easy to find me. Just my name. If you Google just my name, you can find everything, even my Instagram or everything, even my PhD thesis. You can read it, download. It's in English, not in French. I did it in France, but it's in English. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Yana. It's been a pleasure. And for everyone who's watching, thank you, or listening, thank you so much for being here with us in the lounge. And we'll be back soon with another episode.